cents. You are going to keep the other $250. So every month you'll receive a check for $250. Plus you will get the $120,000 in cash that you need right now.
I'm going to get $250 a month?
Yes, for 240 payments.
For the next, what is that? The next 20 years?
That's 20 years.
Wow.
Correct. Now, after those 240 payments, there will be 113 payments left. At that time, the principal balance still due on that note will be $116,234.
Oh, it's a lot. Okay.
So at that point, you can either take that note back, you'll be getting it back, and you can either continue collecting the $1,467 per month until the end of the note, or if you'd like, I would like to have first right of refusal to possibly buy it at that point, or when it gets close to that time.
Not a problem.
Okay? Now, let me put these numbers together for you. If you want to write these down,
Okay.
we can pay you $120,000 right now.
$120,000 now?
$120,000 to buy 240 payments of $1,217.53 each.
Okay.
You keep $250 a month for 240 payments. That's an additional $60,000. You also get the principal balance back at the end of those 240 months. You will get the note back with a principal balance of $116,234. The total cash value of this particular note is $296,234.
Wow, I can't, you're going to give me $120,000 now, and I'm
Yes.
still going to get $240 a month?
Does that sound pretty good? Are we good or what?
If you could do that, you have a deal.
We have a deal. Okay, I'll tell you what. I need to have the documents. I will pull out of my file folder right here a mortgage purchase agreement that I would like for you to sign. And all that does, it says that this is what we're saying that we will pay you, but it's all subject to due diligence, subject to credit report, it's subject to the appraisal, and I think I mentioned to this when I was here yesterday speaking with you.
Yeah, well, I know that house is going to appraise out. I know that.
Okay, very good, very good.
$120,000 now?
What is that? That's what you said you needed?
That's what I need.
So we have you
bless
covered, and we'll try to do this as quickly as we can. We're at the mercy of the appraisers, and we're usually at the mercy of the title companies, so be patient with us, and I will be checking with you regularly to let you know what the progress is.
You made me a happy man.
Well, you've made me a happy broker. This is my first deal, and I love it.
Oh, great. Congratulations,
Well,
Dee.
thank you so much.
Converting a note buyer. As the final step in this private mortgage transaction, Dee continues in her role as the broker, and Ben Dean plays the contract note buyer.
ABC Investments, Ben Dean, may I help you?
Ben, hi, this is Dee Jones. I know you've never heard of me, but I'm a brand new graduate from ACFI. And I faxed up a worksheet to you just a short while ago, I guess about 45 minutes or an hour or so ago. And I'm wondering if you got it?
I sure did, Dee. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at it.
What do you think?
Well, I kind of like it. I think there's some very good prospects to it. It has some negatives, some positives. But let's just go over it since you're a new...
I'm a newbie.
You're a newbie, okay.
And I'm nervous. I guess I don't need to tell you that. This is my first deal, and I really need your help, Ben.
Well, let's go through this, and just as a follow-up, how about if I send you out a broker package, and then you have kind of an idea what we're looking for?
I'd love it. Thank you.
After.
I appreciate that, yes.
And you did a terrific job going through this. There's a few things we should cover. One of the things is we need to know how many payments have been paid. It shows that it was done in January of '98, and I took the current month and assumed that it's current. Is that correct?
I asked him, yes, he said that all the payments have been made. Some of them have been a little bit late. This was done in a family situation. The buyer is the daughter of the seller,
okay,
and her husband. And he said that the first couple of payments they made very well, and after that they were a little bit slow, but they have made all of the payments.
All right, so let's just cover some of the basics of it, and I appreciate you getting that information for me. One of the things that you might want to consider is normally most investors, including us, do not like to see 100% financing on seller finance. We like to see the buyer have some kind of equity in the property. However, I think we can work a deal so that we can build in the equity, let the seller share in our exposure. One way, we're going to build it in for ourselves. The other way, we'll build it in the exposure where the seller shares in it.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah, whatever you can do to help, because I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Well, you did a terrific job.
Thank you.
I noticed on your worksheet that you had an underlying balance that needed to be taken care of. That's very good. Most people don't catch that.
Yes, he said the bank is calling that in about 3 or 4 weeks. Can we make that for him? Is it possible?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, thank
It
you.
depends on the cooperation, as you know, of the appraiser and the title company.
Yes.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
One of the things that I would like to cover with you is if you can up front, it's always nice to have the buyer's name, Social Security number, and especially on a new purchase like this, their prior address, so we can
Okay.
pull credit, because we may have an A credit, and we're going to
Right.
bid it like as if we do not have an A credit. However, based on the exposure that they want us to make, what the seller and the buyers were able to do together, we're going to try and make it come back, and so the seller will not suffer for this.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's just take a look at it. I know that everybody likes to have a full purchase. Well, let's just take a look at a full purchase. We're not really interested in a full purchase.
Okay, all
But
right.
if we do take a full purchase, let's go this way. I would not feel comfortable, based upon what I'm seeing here, without knowing a lot more about it, such as the buyer's credit. And I have to assume, since they had no down payment, that their credit's probably in about the same kind of shape. They have little to none, or if they do have, we'll have to assume that it's not the best. So I'm going to limit my exposure to 75% of the sales price, which would come to about $150,000.
Okay,
So that a full purchase on it, I'll go 150.
okay.
And I kind of played with it to figure, how can we best satisfy what you and the seller both need?
Okay.
Here's what I was able to come up with, Dean. Let's look at a partial. If I buy, let's say, the first 20 years, 240 months, and I like the seller to share in that, know that the seller is still retaining some interest in it. He knows the payments are being paid. He or she knows the
Right.
payments are being paid.
That's good.
Let's leave him $250 a month.
Oh, good. Oh, I think you'll like that.
Good. So over the 20 years that we're looking at buying, the $250 a month comes to about $60,000. So we know he's going to have $60,000. Now let's see what I'll pay for that. Based upon what our yield requirements are, I can go $126,165 for the 240 payments. Now remember, with him having made 7 payments, there are 353 payments remaining.
Correct.
Take 240 from that, there's 113 left. Out of that 113 payments, at the end of the 20 years when it's returned to the seller, he'll have a balance of $116,234.23.
That's 116,234.
23. If I go a little fast, yell. I'm writing this down as we're talking. And one of
Okay,
the things I
yeah.
like to do is I'll fax it to you.
Great. I was going to ask you if you would do that, please.
Absolutely. Because I do go kind of fast. But I want you to have it in writing, so if something comes up later on, at least you know that you have it in writing what we've agreed to. So the seller's going to end up with a payment stream of 240 payments of 250. You'll have on the table $126,000 at closing.
Okay. Now, could I ask you a question? I'm never really sure about what kind of fees I should keep out of it. Can you suggest, or is that not a good question to ask you?
I would say on a deal like this, there is so much available here that I would probably recommend that you take about $5,000, and if
Okay.
you're going to cover the cost $6,000, let's say even it out to $120,000 to the seller.
That's my offer to him, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then
And-
I could make the pay for the appraisal.
Absolutely.
Would that be okay? All right.
Absolutely,
okay.
for
That
the
sounds
appraisal.
good. Yeah.
And there'll be some title work.
I really
Assume-
want to help him. He's such a nice person.
Well, it sounds like it. He's backing his daughter. There's not many people that are willing to do that with a home worth $200,000. What I would suggest on that, Dee, is find out if he has title work. If he does, we can get an update of that. That'll save you a lot of money.
All right.
Was there an appraisal done? Since it's only been open now for 7 to 8 months, if there was an appraisal made, we can use that appraisal. Assume it's a full appraisal. We can use that. There'd be no cost for there. So
Now,
that's
Ben-
ways to save money.
Ben, I have to tell you, when I asked him about the appraisal, he said that the comps in the area have been coming in at about 230, 240.
Terrific.
So that I'm feeling that the appraisal, if it has not already been done, that it should come in at right around that same amount.
Fantastic. That makes it even a sweeter deal.
Good.
Now, one of the things that I always suggest to the new brokers is that when you do go to the seller, that you get first right of refusal on any future sales, because quite obviously if he has needs now, as an example, where you put in here he's an IRS, they may come back to visit him again. He has a business adventure. If that takes off, he may want to get more money.
Could I ask you to explain that first right of refusal, and at what point I would need that?
I would take it as part of my purchase agreement. If you do not have it in your purchase agreement, make an addendum to it so that any future sales he has, he has to come to you first. Because quite obviously, when he does have more money, he knows that he can sell paper now. He might do some shopping. And we want him to come to you first. This is your client. We want him to be happy that he comes back to you at all times.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, the let's see here. I think we've covered just about everything. You should have a... Do you want to repeat the numbers back to me?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We're going to buy 200... Well, let me try the full first. You said that you could buy the full for $150,000?
Absolutely.
Is that correct? And
that's correct.
I think I'll offer him $145,000.
That sounds fair.
I don't really feel that that's what he wants to take, but because I myself like the partial, so I'll work toward trying to talk to him about the partial more than anything else in more positive tones.
Good.
Now the partial, you will buy 240 payments, and you will buy only $1,217.53 per month.
That's correct.
And leave him the other $250 per month, so he'll receive 240 payments of $250 each. Correct?
That's correct.
And for that, you'll pay something like $126,165.
Absolutely.
And I'll offer him $120,000. And I will offer to pay for the closing costs.
Beautiful.
Okay. Then the remaining 113 payments carry a principal balance of $116,234, and I'm going to ask for the first right of refusal and put that into my mortgage purchase agreement. So now, when I offer this to him, then I will go ahead and tell him that we can pay $120,000 cash at the closing, plus he will receive 240 payments of $250 each. He's already received 7 payments of $1,500 or close to $1,500, so I can probably toss that in too to show him that he's already received some cash.
About $10,500, isn't it?
Right. And then the principal balance of $116,234, which will give him a total cash value of something that's pretty close to $300,000.
All right, and there's one thing that I'll suggest, and I'll fax it over to you.
Yes, please.
Is let's take the factor that he's going to receive $116,234.23, and he's going to be receiving that in 20 years.
20 years, correct.
The present value of that, and I had a present value of that's $23,592.22.
Okay.
What I would suggest is let me run an AM schedule that shows that anytime he pays this off, what exactly his proportionate share is.
Wonderful.
So that if he takes this to an attorney, they want to know at any one time, because you had mentioned in your worksheet that his daughter may be refinancing.
Yes, yes,
and,
there's
and
that
you don't want to be
possibility.
caught trying to, him saying that you have to pay him $116,000. So he'll know at any one time. So let me fax this all over to you, Dee.
Great.
I'll get that broker pack out to you, and I wish you well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your help, and I'll be looking for your broker package. And Ben, I really want to work with you in the future too, so I hope I can take a lot more deals to you.
We'd love to have your business.
Thank you so much.
This completes Series 2 that demonstrated step-by-step negotiations. For training purposes, we included specific points to cover in your conversations with sellers of debt instruments, as well as a few guidelines for dealing with funding sources. With both sellers and funding sources, you will address concerns they may have and any issues regarding funding. It is important to note those points and be certain you bring them up during your negotiations if your party does not. Now that you have finished your initial review of these series, return to your study guide and review each scenario. Your study guide takes you step by step through each scenario and indicates the key points and why they are important to you as a broker. This video was designed to assist you in understanding how the information you're learning in your training program is implemented in everyday life. As you can see, the people here represent no type of broker or possess a particular skill at presenting. The issue at hand in presentations will always be how well you, as the broker, understand the services you provide, how well you know your business. That knowledge will inspire confidence and comfort with the people you meet with, and will provide you with the best opportunity to create success in the cash flow industry.